Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Douglas. I am Revel's hosting director. Revel is a platform for women at midlife and beyond who are seeking to reimagine the possibilities as we age. We are national, we are global, and I am absolutely excited to have Kaisa Keranen with us today to just talk about fitness. Let me give a little introduction to Kaisa. Kaisa, you are a personal trainer, a fitness educator, and a social media influencer known for your fun and innovative ways to get people moving. As the owner of Kaisa Fit, you've developed your own method of movement, which you share daily with your clients and the many who follow you on social media. You have been featured in Vogue, Shape, Self, Harpers Bazaar, and Oxygen, among other outlets. And notably, you were asked by Michelle Obama to be one of the go-to trainers for her famous Let's Move digital campaign. Very importantly for our Revel audience, and excitingly, you've created a special offer for Revelers, which is now live. You can go to justmove.com/raging gracefully to take advantage of Kaisa's generous offer. And in exchange, you will get access to a whole free month of Just Move or a discount on a full year of Just Move with the code Raging Gracefully. So we are thrilled to have you here, Kaisa. And let me just say to our audience too, we'd absolutely love to invite you to ask any and all questions, which I will deliver to Kaisa. Very happy to have her answer them and have this be as interactive as possible. And I think I'll just begin by saying a huge welcome to you. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us and with the Revel audience, Kaisa. And I guess my first question for you is, what exactly is your own method of movement and how did you create it?
That is a great question. Well, I would say my own method of movement is one in which I value fun, creative ways that help me to feel my best rather than to change the way that my body looks. And so when I first came into the industry, so I'm 36 now, when I first came in at 20, fitness was really about getting people to move so that we could help them lose weight or change the way they looked. And I just never agreed with that. I have an athletic background. I've always been really inspired by what my body could do physically rather than trying to change the way that she looks. And so that's kind of what I bring as a movement coach and as a fitness trainer.
Yeah, I noticed in your introduction or in the bio that was given to me that that your motto is health is a feeling and not a look. Can you say a little more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fitness industry and, wellness industry in general has told everyone that if you are healthy, you look a certain way. I mean, we don't have to go into details, but even like BMI. And the reality is that's not true at all. And I think for people to start understanding that that's really just a way for the industry to make money because we're pushing an image on and trying to get you to buy products and basically basing it on a lie. And so health is a feeling. Health is, a version of you taking care of yourself given your own circumstances. It's moving regularly. It's, eating relatively well and hydrating and sleeping. And that's what health is. And everybody's version of health looks a different way on their body and in their body. And, I think for me, luckily I had movement as an athlete growing up to help me understand this relationship between my healthiest version is a, bigger muscular version of myself. And that's when I'm my most healthy. So health just doesn't look one way.
Right. And how did you come to that? I love that idea of just like allowing for so many different iterations and expressions of good health, because you're absolutely right. Like, anecdotally, I can see I'm 58 years old and I grew up in a world where there was pretty much like one body type that was the ideal. And anything else was like, if you presented in any different way, that was a reason to feel badly about yourself. So how did you come up with this other expression and affirmation of the wherewithal for us to have lots of different body types and still be super healthy and sexy?
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, Jenny, like for me, growing up as an athlete, growing up as a child who dealt with depression and then moving into adulthood, movement was always my outlet. And so taking care of my body and being proud of what my body could do was a relationship that I had from a very young age. When I went into the fitness industry, as naive as it sounds, I was there to help people do really cool, awesome things in their body. I had no idea that 99% of the people that came to see me were there because they wanted to lose weight and change the way they looked. And so it was a very eye-opening moment for me. And I know that sounds naive to kind of have this moment of like, okay, this is not the trainer I want to be. I do not want to co-sign that there is something wrong with the way that people look. I do not want to co-sign that movement is punishment. I want to figure out a way in which I make movement a really fun and empowering moment in people's lives. And so from the very beginning of my life as a trainer, that was really my goal. And then the message has evolved over time, and it's been 16 years. So it's definitely evolved, but that was always where I was coming from.
I love the spaciousness and the expansiveness of your message. And as you were speaking, I was thinking about how alongside that, at least in my like Instagram feed, I see so many like ads and whatever accounts of plastic surgery, right? And like so many different ways to aesthetically change your appearance. And it really like, all the different things that you can get, especially for women of Revel age. And so it just feels like such a breath of fresh air to hear you singing a different kind of song that is all about like looking good based on being healthy, and being healthy can have a physical expression that really can vary according to body type.
Absolutely. And I think if you take a moment to get real with yourself, most of the time we want to change the way that we look because we're unhappy about certain aspects of our life and who we are. And we've just been told that most of the time it's attributed, especially as women, that a lot of these things are going wrong because you don't look the right way. And so happiness will come when you change the way that you look. And that's a lie. Like it's not true. You do not get happier the skinnier you are. And if you are happier for 1 second because you went on vacation and fit into a bikini you wanted to, that is a split second. That is not sustainable happiness. And so for me, the goal was always to use movement as a tool to help people get connected with themselves, get connected with their body, and start to be real with themselves. And I think that's really, I just always saw movement as this really magical tool. I mean, it's the thing that saved my life. And so as a trainer, like I wanted to give that experience back to others. And when you feel confident and comfortable and empowered in what your body can physically do, you care less about having to look a certain way and having to look the way that, the standard of beauty is told to you that it is.
I love everything you're saying, every word. And let me ask you, so you've talked about like how movement has saved your life. And I'd love to know, and you had mentioned earlier about having the experience of depression, which has been is the case for many of us. Many of us have that experience. So how has movement saved your life?
Yeah. So for me, at a very young age, I now looking back and with a lot of therapy, I mean, it's been diagnosed, but I dealt with a lot of anxiety and depression, and I didn't know what it was. But I always knew that the one time that I felt really comfortable and confident in who I was is when I was playing a sport. So when I was moving. And there was a point in my life in high school where I was at one of my lowest lows, and I turned to movement and I turned to soccer at the time to help me get through that. And so I just really developed a like deep appreciation for movement and for my body. And it absolutely saved my life. And so when I came out of that, I actually wanted to be a social worker. I didn't want to be a trainer. But, as life would have it, I coached a boot camp and I fell in love with, I could still work with people and just have movement be the tool. And so the gift of life that it gave me, then I got to help people experience that as well.
That's so cool. What would you say, because Revel is a platform for women, 40s, 50s, 60s and on. Let me just say this. I'm 58. I feel relatively healthy, really happy to be here, but I've always been a really bad exerciser. I'd rather do almost anything else and not exercise, but I'd like to change that. So what what are like doable baby steps that would help me? I mean, I've exercised sporadically, but what might you say to somebody like me or to me directly and others like me who just
Okay.
have not had, like, fitness isn't one of my love languages, but I'd like to think about maybe having it become that. So what can
Absolutely.
you help me?
Well, Jenny, first we would start by changing your language. So I would say, well, you don't have to be into fitness and you don't have to be into exercise, but you have a body and a body is meant to move. So how do you like to move throughout your day? Do you walk?
I
Do
love
you?
to walk. I will say I do about 10,000 steps a day. I've got a little dog. I live in Brooklyn. We walk every morning through Prospect Park. So I'm not, sitting around all day. I mean, actually, maybe I am in better shape than I thought.
See, Jenny, though, but that's the point. And when you
Yeah.
told me that you feel good in your body and that you feel healthy,
Yeah.
my number one thing is, okay, whatever she's doing, it's working for her. If
Yeah.
you came to me and you said, I do want to get a little stronger, then I would say, well, there's certain things we have to do. We should probably start lifting some weights and we should develop a program for you. And you should figure out whether you like to go into a studio, whether you like to do your own thing at home. We would add on to what you're doing. But I think it's really important for people to change their language because you have a body, bodies are meant to move and bodies love moving. It's just that fitness has put it all into a box that it has to happen in a gym and look a certain way. It doesn't. You could dance, you could walk, you could hike, you could ride a bike, you could clean your house regularly. Like that's all movement. And that's all what I like to encourage.
That's a great idea. So it's really kind of about maybe reframing and not telling yourself a story that you're XYZ bad thing.
Yes.
Maybe like take account of all of the ways that you might already actually be doing something all right, right?
Yes.
And amplify that maybe.
Absolutely. And for people that are very, very busy, because I know most of us are very busy in our day, I like to help people start with just by forming a habit. So give me 5 minutes of your day, and I would just put it as a reminder in your day. And if you were sitting at your desk or wherever you are working, give me 5 minutes and just do something in that 5 minutes. I mean, on Just Move, we have a million 5-minute workouts. So if you need to know what to do, you can do them there. You could breathe. You could just sit there and focus on your breath. You could do a few stretches, but it starts with a habit.
Yeah.
And then we add from there.
This is perfect because, I'm getting married. I'm getting remarried in September. I proposed to my boyfriend 6 months ago, dropped down on one knee, getting married in the Hudson Valley. And I'd like to lose 5 to 7 pounds between now and September and not do it in a drastic way. But I bought hand weights for the first time ever. And I thought when I'm Netflix and chilling with my boyfriend at night, maybe I could do a little of this.
Yeah. And also, Jenny, if you were my client, I'd say, why do you have to lose 5 pounds?
Yes, good point. And,
Yeah.
I am being pretty kind with myself. And I've decided if I don't lose it, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't mind having the wedding be a motivation to get a little healthier than I am now.
And I love that. So then we would just reframe the language. How about we worked on getting a little stronger? How about we worked on making sure that our core was stable or that cardiovascularly we were feeling good and we could go walk our 10,000 steps and maybe add, make it 12,000 steps. That it's just reframing your language. And one of the things I like to say is your body. I think of my body as my best friend. So I know this sounds crazy. I think of her as something separate than myself. And so when I'm talking to her and I'm talking about all the negative things and the things that I don't like and the things that I want to change, I have to remind myself I would never talk to my best friend that way. And so I just reframe everything in a positive language. It doesn't mean I talk negatively to myself every single day. So let me just put it out there. I stand in the mirror every single day and there's things I want to change. I just don't sit in that. I try to let it go in and out. And I try to say, like, I know your arms are huge, Kaisa, and that's why you can do 10 pull-ups, no problem. It's like reframing our language.
I love that. I mean, it really is a practice, right?
Yes.
Like the idea of befriending your body. And I'm finding as I get older, like I don't have a hugely different, but I have a pretty different body at 58 than I did at 25, as any 58-year-old woman does. And so I too practice, and I've always had a good relationship with my body, no matter what my weight, but I have to actively look at my little Buddha belly and just say like, hi belly, how you doing today?
Yeah. And I love that. And I also want to encourage you don't have to love it. Like we don't have to love every piece of ourselves, but you are not your body. Like another one of my sayings is I am more than my body. I love my body. I am so grateful for her, but I am not defined as a woman in this world. What I look like is not the thing that defines me. I am a business owner. I am a courageous woman. I'm a family, like I'm a lot more things than my body. And that's what I don't want people to feel like they have to sit in, especially women.
I love that. It's so refreshing to talk to you, I must say. Um,
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. So what are there, I know that you work with women of all ages.
Mhm.
And so like of women of Revel age, are there kind of like, again, in a gentle way, but are there common mistakes that maybe we can make that it would be good for us to avoid? Are there things that would be helpful for us to be mindful of for those of us who are in midlife?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one, it goes, I would first ask, like, what are you doing right now in terms of movement? And so if you tell me you're doing nothing, then I would say, let's start very gently. Like our goal is not that you go from 0 to 60. Our goal is that you start moving and you move until your life ends. We've got plenty of time. So that's our goal. It means adding habits of movement into your life. Eventually, I would love it to be daily. It doesn't have to be thought out programs daily, but it would be starting slowly. I would love for you to incorporate some mobility work, which is a form of really taking care of your joints. And I would love for you to add some strength training. And eventually, when you feel good, we'd actually add weight to that strength training. And I think something for me, I really realized that people coming into movement, no matter what age, coming into movement for the very first time, it is a really scary place. It's really scary to walk into the fitness industry, whether you're doing an online class or you're doing it in a gym, and just feel like you have no idea what to do. And it's really overwhelming. So on our Just Move platform that I created, I actually created a start level because I wanted to be really welcoming to anybody and everybody and just have it be a space where you feel like you're learning about your body. You're having an experience that you feel good doing. It's not too much, like that happens all the time. We go too much, too fast. And it's a building block and it's your foundation. And then obviously, like I said, I want you to move for the rest of your life. So I want it to be really, I want it to feel good in your body.
I love it. I mean, it just feels like such an invitation, Kaisa. Like I'm thinking as you're speaking, all these different thoughts are coming to me. One, I'm remembering my own childhood self who was never good in sports and was always the last picked on teams. And so like you carry that awareness with you, right? And then I think about like the experience of going to gyms, which occasionally I have joined. And like you're there with all these, I am with all these younger people, and I've hired a personal trainer a couple of times. It never really lasted because the feeling was that I needed to be like that, like the bar was set in a very kind of cookie cutter way, so that you always feel like you're somehow not doing it right. And that's not like good, a good foundation
Yeah.
to grow something that excites you.
No, absolutely. And I think one of the other things too is I really wanted a community. I think a lot of times people stick with things because they feel like they belong to a community and to a group of people that they feel like they resonate with. And so we have a really cool Just Move Facebook group, and we have people sharing their stories, and we have people encouraging other people every single day and checking in and staying accountable to the Just Move crew. And so for me, it was really, I want to create a welcoming space. I want everybody to feel like they belong at Just Move. It doesn't matter what level you are. For some reason, when it comes to starting anything else in life, you're like applauded and encouraged to start that thing. But when it comes to movement, for some reason, we think like if we're just starting off, we should already know this by now. And so I might as well just quit. And so I'm really trying to change that.
Well, it sounds like you are. I mean, I went on your Instagram account before and you've got quite a following. And I was really inspired to just watch your little clips, the way that you're moving, the kind of positive energy that you bring to your platform. I can completely see why you have such an engaged group of followers.
Thank you.
Um,
I appreciate that.
I really, we appreciate you. So can we talk a little bit about Just Move and
Yeah.
like how it began and where Michelle Obama fit in? Was
Oh,
that
yeah.
the beginnings of it? We'd love to hear a little more about that.
Yeah. So Michelle Obama was actually a handful of years ago. It's just one of those things where it's like, that was like the epitome of my career. How can we forget that? But she had asked a friend and I to lead the digital version of her Let's Move campaign. And so we created a bunch of workouts, and the goal was just to inspire people to add a little bit of movement into their life. And then I 2 years ago developed Just Move, and it was always in the works. I wanted to have a platform that was what I believed in, that was encouraging people to move, and that was welcoming to anybody and everybody. And so Just Move is a platform of online workouts, and we have everything from start moving, so people that are just starting their movement journey, to beginner, intermediate, advanced, and we have yoga, mobility, cardio, strength. We have dance, we have any type of movement you can think of, and it's constantly being added to. And the goal was just to really create a space where exploring your body through movement is a really fun thing. It's a way to celebrate your body. And that's the goal with Just Move.
Cool. So you have the website Just Move, and then let me just repeat again for those who are just joining or would like to hear it again, that Kaisa has made very generously made a special offer to revelers, which can be found at justmove.com/raging gracefully. That's what you put in this little search bar, and you will, with that code, get a free month of Just Move and a discount toward a 1-year program. Is that right?
Absolutely. And if you are someone who is just starting your movement journey, go in there, go check it out, and check out the start level. That is going to be the place that you want to begin. It's the place you want to start.
Fantastic. And that's what I'll do
Yes.
as a 58-year-old woman who's never really thought of herself as an athlete, but may have some gentle reframing to do thanks to the coaxing and coaching you've given me even here in this conversation.
Yeah. And honestly, Jenny, I'm just going to reiterate this. You have a body, you are an athlete, and your trainers or whoever else has taught you has never taught you well enough for you to really understand what it means to move in your body. And so I really want to take that moment to have you go through those classes. And I want you to email me back in a month and just let me know how you're feeling in your body. And hopefully you feel, very different in your body.
I'm going to do that. I really feel like that's a perfect note to end on. Yeah, I'm going to, right after we get off this, I'm going to become your next follower and your next devote, and I'm ready to go.
Awesome. I love it.
I just want to say thank you so much, Kaisa Keranen. And we're so happy to have had you here to have this really enlightening and inspiring conversation about what it is to be healthy, to be fit, how we can reframe where we need to reframe. And I just love the idea of starting wherever you are in a super gentle, spacious, invitational way. And I really appreciate everything that you are doing to help us kind of just think about like reconnecting with our idea of what it means to be healthy at our age.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so great to have you, Kaisa. Thank you so much.
Thank you.